世tương thân tình trong đạo Phật, tùy khác màu nhưng một tôn sư. Hôm nay đây cùng nhau họp mặt, quyết noi theo đường Phật giáo Hoàng Dương.
Yeah, we just ended the 7 factors of enlightenment, and now we're going to go into the last part of the 37 factors of enlightenment. The last part is the Eightfold Path, and the Eightfold Path, out of all the teachings that I've gone over in the 37 factors of enlightenment, I can say with wholeheartedness that if you were to practice the Eightfold Path alone, just practice, if you dedicate your life in just practicing the Eightfold Path alone, that just these 8 steps will help you enter enlightenment. There's no trickiness to it. That's why it's very important for you to understand the Eightfold Path. It's very simple. It's very logical, nothing complicated. Now, what is the Eightfold Path? The Eightfold Path, the first one is right understanding. Right thought, right speech, right action. Right livelihood, right effort, right concentration, right mindfulness. What you have to understand, that when you were to practice the Eightfold Path, right understanding is how so? Right understanding is, say for example, you want to climb a mountain. You want to climb Mount Everest. Now, in order for you to climb Mount Everest, you have to know exactly where Mount Everest is, right? You have to see the whole mountain as a whole first. Know that you have to start at base camp, go from this location, and trek over here, and walk over here, and then eventually you get to the top. That's how it is. You have to know the course first. You have to know what you're trying to conquer, what you're trying to embark. Right understanding is seeing the whole picture first. But why is right understanding the first one? Out of greed, anger, and delusion, the 3 poisons that I talked about earlier. Greed, anger, and delusion is the reason why we're here. Greed, anger, delusion. Delusion or ignorance. Ignorance is the complete opposite of right understanding or understanding. So this is one of the methods for you to get rid of ignorance within your life. Get rid of delusions inside your life, is to have right understanding. Right understanding is having the whole picture, having the complete picture ahead, and it's the complete opposite of ignorance. It's because of ignorance that we suffer. It's because of ignorance that we allow prejudice and discrimination to arise in this society that we see. If you were to turn on the news, you'll see that there is black versus white. There's a whole deal with the Ferguson over in the East Coast. And there's all these different dramas, all these different turmoils, all this different civil situation that's going on around the world that we see. It's because of failure to understand each other. There's an ignorance of I am right, you're wrong. And because of that view of I'm right, you're wrong, and there's nothing you can say to prove it, there's nothing you can say to change it, people start to clash. And people start to kill each other to protect the view of what they're trying to maintain. This ignorance that they're trying to uphold in their mind, that they're better than everyone else. And they try to exert their power over everyone. By doing that, there's always going to be suffering. So the complete opposite of ignorance, the complete opposite of delusion is understanding. That's why the Buddha taught is to have right understanding. Always to have right understanding. Never put yourself in a position to be ignorant. Never put yourself in a position to cloud your judgment through attaching yourself to this social mass that you create in your mind, to exert dominance over other people, to exert dominance over someone else, to prove yourself by doing something harmful to others to show your strength. If you continue to do that, you're only going to set yourself up for continuous suffering your entire life. That's why the Buddha taught right understanding to be the first one. Now, after right understanding, which works within the mind, because everything comes from the mind. Right understanding here dwells from the mind. Right understanding first, right thought is second. Thoughts become words to become action. Right thought, right speech, right action. Understand that three formula. Right thoughts become words to become action. Every action that you have, every action that you do, always follows with the words you say. The words you say to someone else, I'm going to do this, or the words you say to yourself, I'm going to do this. Before any word that you say to yourself or the words you say to anyone else, always comes from your mind, your thought. Thoughts become words to become action. Always remember that. So what does it mean by right thought? Right thought here is always having the right thinking. Understand that everything comes from the mind, right? Every suffering comes from the mind. Every happiness comes from the mind. Everything that you experience comes from the mind. So it's always important to have the right thinking, right thought. The thoughts you have should always be to help someone else. The thoughts you have should always mean to preserve the environment, not to destroy it. The thoughts you have is always to use the Dharma to cultivate your mind, to remove all sorts of suffering. The thoughts that you have should always, after you realize the Dharma, and always after you practice the Dharma, your thoughts should always go back, turn around, and teach the Dharma to someone else. Teach the Dharma to those who don't understand it. Teach the Dharma for those who need it, which everyone needs it. Teach the Dharma for those who are suffering. Once you have the right thought, all that right thought, it leads to right action. Now, before I move to the right action, which has right speech, right thought here is also you always think, you always use your mind. Do not put yourself in the position to always react. There's two differences. There's responding and there's reacting. If someone says something to you negatively, if you say something back without even thinking, if someone says one word, you respond back in 10 words. When someone says something bad to you, you say something bad back 10 times. If you say that without even thinking, that's called a reaction. The reaction, whether you know it or not, whether you consciously know you did it or whether you unconsciously know you did it, carries with it the seed of negative karma. And so, you have to know the differences between responding and reacting. Responding here is if someone says something bad to you, you stand back. You observe what they say. And then you ask yourself, or even you ask them, why do you feel the need to say that to me? And then you dwell in deeper on the reason why they say that to you. Sometimes people say something to you. People only say to you how they feel about themselves. People say something to you based on how they feel about themselves. If they're feeling bad about themselves, there is no way, no chance that they're going to say something good. Why? Because their mind is bothered by something negative. So if their mind is bothered by something negative, it's impossible for them to say something good. And if they were to say something good, it's going to be forced, not authentic. It's not genuine. It's something forced, something fake. But if someone's happy about themselves, the words they say, the tonality on how they say it is going to show to you on the positivity that they're trying to tell you. There's nothing negative. It's because their mindset is very happy. Their mindset is positive. Because their mindset is positive, the words they say is going to be positive. There is absolutely no way that you have a mindset that's negative that you're going to say something positive. Thoughts become words, become action. If your mindset is, say if you have a bucket of water, and this bucket of water is cold, there's no way that you're going to have hot water the same time you have cold water. On the other hand, If you have a bucket of hot boiling water, there is no way that you're going to have cold ice water in the same bucket at the same time you have hot water. It doesn't work that way. The laws of the universe doesn't allow it. And the laws of the universe does not allow your mind to work the same way. If your mind right now is very negative, there is no way that you're going to have positivity inside your mind. On the other hand, if you have positivity inside your mind right now, there is no way that you're going to have negativity inside your mind. And so always watch your thoughts. Thoughts become words to become action. Always watch your thoughts. Experience your thought. Look after your thought. Be careful with what you're thinking. What you're thinking, you're going to experience it. And so I realize there's not that much time. In the later episodes, I'm going to talk further more about right thought, right speech, right action, and carry on further with the rest of the Eightfold Path. And so I wish you take the teaching that I've learned and apply it in your life. Always watch your thoughts. Do not think negatively, but always think positively. And by doing so, it will help shape your life to be a more positive life. And so there's not enough time. I hope you have a great and wonderful night. Namo Bumse Dekamani.